how does God treat us? How does God treat us, particularly in those moments where we feel separated, distanced from God? Well, in our parable of the prodigal son today, we have two wonderful examples. The first is that younger son, and we know the story, who demands his inheritance. He essentially says to his father, I don't want to be a part of this family anymore. And he leaves. He goes to a faraway country. He gets as far away from his father as he possibly can. And he wastes the inheritance on wild living. And so he has to come home, and he is ashamed and embarrassed. And as he journeys, he rehearses his speech because he thinks he's just done too much. And so he's going to say to his father, I'm not worthy to be your son. Treat me like a slave. He's just done too much to be a child anymore. The elder son doesn't fare much better. Even though he's always been on the family property, there is this distance, there is this separation between him and the father. When he hears about the celebration going on in the house, he gets so angry that he refuses to go in. And when he's able to talk with the father, just listen to what he says. He says, look, I have slaved for you, and you haven't given me anything. You've never given me a goat for my friends. And when this son of yours comes, you act inappropriately to him. He charges his father with unrighteousness in the past. There's this separation. He doesn't see himself as the son of a loving parent. He sees himself as a slave to a slave driver. And how does the father respond? Well, we might think that the father would completely be justified in going to that younger son and saying, I told you so. Or going to that elder son and saying, you ungrateful little so-and-so. But he doesn't. And in his response to his two children, we see God's response to us. What do we see? That God comes to us. The father goes out to each children. It says when the younger son was just a speck on the horizon, the father sees him and he runs to him. He makes his way to him. And when he knows that the elder son isn't going to come into the house, he leaves the comfort of the celebration in the family home, and he goes out to the son who stands at a distance. How does God treat us? When we feel separated from God, God bridges that separation by coming to us. But that's not all we see. We see the father also affirms the sonship of each child. He doesn't treat them as slaves, he treats them as sons. To the younger son, he says, let's get a robe, put it on him, put a ring on his finger, put sandals on his feet. For this son of mine was dead and is alive. He was lost and is found. And to the elder son, after being berated by him, verbally berated and insulted by the elder son, he simply says, my son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. The father doesn't treat them as slaves. He affirms that they are sons. So when God bridges the gap of our separation by coming to us, what does God do? God affirms that we are children of God, that we are sons and we are daughters. We aren't slaves. We aren't cast off. We are God's children. Because being a son or being a daughter of God isn't based on what we do. It's not based on how perfect we are. It's not based on being or doing enough. It is based on the fact that that is who God has created us to be. We are children of God because God has created us to be children, and nothing will separate us from that. Nothing will deny that. And so no matter how separated you might feel from God, know that in Jesus, God comes to you. God bridges that separation, not to condemn you, not to reject you, not to rebuke you, but to affirm that you are God's beloved child, and God wishes to receive you that way. That's what we are going to be talking about here at the church today. And so if you're in the Calgary area, we would love to see you. We'd love to see you at 10 o'clock. That's when our service is. If you're not in Calgary, or if you can't come, we would definitely encourage you to join our live stream. You can find it on YouTube at Holy Cross Calgary. But wherever you are, may you know that you are God's beloved child. God bless you.